In this tutorial I will show how to enter and exit a vehicle. Let me show an example. If I walk to the red car, press on E, I'm entering the car and I'm able to drive. And if I go to this corner and press on E again, I'm leaving the car. And if I walk to the green one, I'm entering the car again, driving, and if I press on E again, I exit the car. So let's create the environment. We need a 3D scene, so click on 3D scene and rename it to whatever you want. I will name it world. Then I will click on the plus sign here and search for mesh instance and press enter. And on the right, click on mesh and then new cube mesh. And then click on the cube icon here, expand, and change this to 20. And this also 20. Now click on mesh and click on create convex static body. And now we have the floor, and rename this to floor because that's the floor. Now we need a player, so search for kinematic body and double click on it and rename it to player. Give this add a child node and say search for mesh instance again, and on floor click on the eye icon to hide. Then on mesh instance, click here and select new cube mesh. Click on the cube and change the x-axis to 1 and the z-axis to 1 also. Press on the material tab and select new spatial material. Click on the circle and select albedo and click on the color, on a white color, and then choose your own color. I will change it to blue. Now click on the mesh instance again and select create convex static body and drag the collision shape out of the static body and place it in the player itself. Then delete static body. Okay, now we have a collision shape for the player and a mesh for the player. Now what we need is a camera. So search for camera and add a camera and hold Ctrl and drag it backwards. So you will, when you hold Ctrl, you will drag it across the grid. Drag it backwards and position it a little bit higher. And then select this X rotation, and if you hold Ctrl again, you will rotate accordingly again. If you click here, you can preview what the camera is seeing. Now click on the player. On your keyboard, click Ctrl+D and it will duplicate the player. Now hide this player and rename this kinematic body to car. Delete the collision shape and change the mesh. First click here and then click on make unique. And then click here and again and change the size to Z axis to 3 and the x-axis to 2. Now click on Mesh again and click on Create Convex Static Body again and drag the collision shape out of it in the car layer again here, and delete the static body again. And you can also change the color if you want to from the car again by clicking here on this material tab and then new spatial material, then albedo, and click on color and then, well, choose your color you want. Now press Ctrl S. You can save the scene here. So click on create folder and say like scenes, and then click on save. Now toggle the visibility of the player back and the floor also, so show it again. Okay, if we scroll now with the mouse and zoom out a little bit, and now we see the top, the floor also, and now drag up, select the player and the car and hold Ctrl again and then drag up and drag it above the floor. Now select the car and then drag it sideways a little bit. Select the player and click on the little plus sign here, which will add a script. And then click here to the path, change the path to go up one folder and create a new folder again and type scripts. And then press open and then click on create. What we will first need is a movement script. So select all this and press backspace because we don't need it, and type func physics, and then you will get the physics function automatically. Type here variable, we give it a variable and we say active is true. Now type here if active is true. If active is true, then do this, and we will type here movement, and else if not active is false, then pass. If active is true, we will do this function. Didn't make this function yet, so I'm gonna make this function now. It's called movement, and I have a script here from another YouTuber. His name is called Miziziziz, and I used his script, but I tweaked it a little bit. So yeah, I will just copy and paste it. Yeah, I will put it in the description. This is movement. It's also called movement. Oh wait, sorry. This doesn't need a column. Only this. Movement. The only thing we need to add here for this is a y velocity. Add a variable called y underscore velocity is 0. We need to make the camera active also. So in the script we type here $, camera dot make current, and that will tweak this option here, so it will make the camera active. So let's press Ctrl S to save it, and now try it pressing F5. Oh yeah, we also need to select the scene we want to open. So go to the folder scenes and select the world scene, the main world scene. And as you can see, I can move around now with the player. I made a few changes to the player script. I removed true, and this basically means the same. And also here if not active. If active is false, I added an exclamation mark before it, and that basically means if it's false. Now let's make the script for the car to move, and that's basically the same script. So we add a script to the car first. Select the car and select the plus sign again, and click on create. Oh wait, change the path to scripts again, and select open and click on create. Now we go back to the player script, paste the script from the player also on the car script, and then save. Try now again, pressing F5. You see the car is becoming active, but the player is also becoming active, and that's not what we want. So to change this, we go back to the script from the car and we change variable active to false, and then save again, and now try again. And now we're starting with the player. Okay, now let's add functions to enter the car. We need to be able to detect the player if the player is next to the car. And to do that, we are creating an area node. So add child node and search for area, press enter, and rename this to player detect, and click on node in the right corner, and then search for the body entered. Double click on it and connect it to the car. So here we type if body.name is player, then print entering car. I forgot one thing. We also need to add a collision shape to the area for the detection. Add a collision shape to the area node. Go to inspector, and next to shape, click on the empty and click on new box shape. Drag the collision shape out of the car, because here the player, it can detect the player. So hold Ctrl again, drag the collision shape next to the car. Now we go back to the car script. If we test it now, it should say entering car in the output here. It detected the player next to the car. Okay, now we're gonna connect another signal. This signal will be if the player is exiting the car. Copy this and paste. Here we will type car underscore zone is false, and we will copy this and paste it also here, and then change it to true. And we add a variable car underscore zone is false. Now we will add two new functions to the car script, and these functions will be these functions. These two functions are entering the car. If you will press E and you're in the next to the car, then this will be true, and it will go one layer back, and it will search for player, and it will set the state of the player to false. Leaving the car, we need a variable vehicle to know where the vehicle is, the location of the vehicle, and we need a variable of the player again. We say new location is the vehicle, so this vehicle that the location of this vehicle, and we set the location to the vehicle, but 2 times the vehicle. So the new location of the player will be next to the vehicle. Now we need to enter the functions, these two functions in the main physics script. If it's not active, if the car is not active, we want to be able to enter the car. So here we fill in this function, and if we are active, we want to be able to leave the car. So here we fill this function. Okay, save. We're almost finished. The only thing we need to do now is add this key to the Keymap. So click on project settings, and input map, and here type UIE_E and click on add, and then click on the plus sign, key, and press the E key. Okay, and then close. Now let's try it. It should work. And here we are driving in the car. If we press E again, the player spawns next to the car. Yeah, we're able to enter the car. So it's working. Good.